Being self accountable is an essential part of growth and personal development. And in this post, I discuss 3 steps that can help you be more self accountable. The first being honest with yourself, the second is to set boundaries, and the third is to follow your own rules. These three in conjunction can help you be a more self accountable person, but it is very subjective to you, and how effective this advice will be is dependent on how serious you take it and how intentional you are about being someone who is more self accountable. If this stuff doesn't resonate with you and you don't really care, it's going to be a lot of platitudes and stuff you're just going to brush by. But if you're someone who's dedicated to be someone who is more accountable and responsible, hopefully this can help you in the right direction. And how I define self accountability here is being honest with yourself, following your own rules, and setting boundaries for yourself. And of course, all of this is easier said than done. Make sure that if you watch this video, it doesn't end here. It's just a stepping stone to help you become someone who is more self accountable. And as all other attitudes I've talked about in my channel, it's a journey. It's a continuous journey of repetition and figuring out new ways to do things and learning from your experience, communicating with others, figuring out new ways to become a better version of yourself and build a better community. So the first one I talk about is being honest with yourself, and this is a bit of a tricky one because it's a good piece of advice for myself, but to you it may not really work well for you if it's not going to work well for you. But first, try it out and see if it does. So what I say is to suggest this to your subconscious mind by reading statements and or saying aloud that you will be honest. And how this works is that, well, we've discussed in our previous book insight, I think it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It, and also The Power of Your Subconscious Mind and the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, many books. Basically, the concept of the subconscious mind and how this works in relation to your own behavior. If you are someone who repeats certain statements to yourself, or whether you're doing it intentionally or it's just something that you do on a daily basis, which is something we all do, you tend to follow that sentiment. You tend to follow those beliefs about yourself, and your actions follow that. So if you are someone who tends to have more negative thoughts, you are likely to become a negative person and have negative actions. And you see how easy that is to break down, but in application, we just live our day-to-day life, so you don't really think about it too much like that. If you continuously tell yourself, I'm going to be honest with myself, I'm going to be honest with others, I'm going to lead with a life of honesty, it helps you start to cultivate your life around that belief. And as you continue to say that, you'll be more willing to follow that through with your actions and your words and your beliefs. So it's a good starting point. It's not the end all be all, but it is definitely a big help to that side of honesty and self accountability. Another aspect I give on it is to reward yourself for good behavior. And it's not like you're a dog or anything, but rewarding yourself for good behavior is a good way to incentivize doing something again. Like the same way if you have a son or a daughter, you give them like something nice that they will like when they do something good. So you'll give them a sweet when they do their chores. They'll subconsciously they'll know that if they continue to do this, they'll continue getting that reward for it. You should build this system for yourself, for your own self. You know the things that you like and the things that you don't like. So build a set of rewards for yourself and a set of consequences that are based around you being honest with yourself. Or this can be applied to anything, but in this scenario, with being honest with yourself, put some rewards that if you're honest for a few days, for example, you give yourself this reward. Is something that you can celebrate with, because this form of celebration is good for yourself. It promotes more action of this sort. And the consequences aspect of it is something that helps you understand that this is not something you want to do. You don't want to be a liar. You don't want to be this or that. when it applies to honesty, you don't want to be a liar. So add consequences that, look, if I lie too much in the next few days, I'm going to add a consequence. I'm going to stop doing this for a week, and I know I love doing this. Or I'm going to reduce my spending on this. Do just either limit things or just add straight consequences to things that when you go against your integrity or against the things that you're trying to accomplish. Hopefully I haven't talked too much on this point. The second thing is to work on following your own rules. You need to build rules around things that you actually feel passionate about, because if you build a rule set based on someone else that tells you to list A, B, C, and D, you won't feel really incentivized or really passionate enough to follow through with it with full interest, and you're likely to break these rules. And if you align it with your values and your priorities and your passions, you're more likely to be someone who's interested in doing it. You want to follow your rules. But even then, it's important to build a punishment system that shouldn't be harsh, but it should be something that tells you that an undesired behavior from you is something that will result in consequences, and the mind hates consequences. And in its process to avoid them, it will help accomplish your goals and follow your rules. Once you start to apply this, you'll figure out that you don't like to face punishments. And what your subconscious will do is flip your mind mentally in a way that, okay, I'll do anything to avoid this. I don't want to do any punishments that I don't want to do. So it's important to put this in and take it as seriously as you can. It only works as much as you seriously want to take it, and that's one thing I'll give a caveat to. And also, I mentioned for the third thing is to set boundaries for yourself. This is very important, and you need to understand where you are comfortable and uncomfortable, and it helps give you a direction and clarity on the things you can and aren't capable of, and it gives you a guidance on where you can continue doing something, take a break, or leave the situation/task altogether. If you don't set boundaries, you may find yourself in a situation where you are unsure of what to do, resulting in making a decision that you blame others for. However, creating boundaries gives you something to be accountable for and be more confident in making an important decision, taking the lead of your own life and your decisions. Yeah, exactly. If you set boundaries, it allows you to be someone who takes the lead of your own life, someone who takes full accountability of what you do and what you say. So I hope these three things have been beneficial to you. Let me know in the comments.